It looks like it's working.
Oh my god, this is incredible.
Yeah, this is a great day. Hi, welcome to Talk Comics to Me. I forgot to pause. Whatever.
I think that was long enough.
Yeah, well, I'll make it work. I'm Champ Champenstein.
I am Heather Hadfield.
And we hope you're all having a good night, unless your name is Pete Ricketts. And we hope that you choke and die.
I don't want to get fired from my job.
I don't think we'll get fired from our job. If we do get fired from our job, fuck Pete Ricketts once again, that bald-headed bitch.
I should have worn my Fuck Pete Ricketts shirt. I wore it Sunday when we did the Cozy Couch Corner or whatever the thing is called.
Cool Couch Corner.
Cool Couch Corner.
Yeah. Pete Ricketts. Pat Ricketts.
Pat Ricketts.
Pat Ricketts.
Is a garbage human.
Is just a terrible human being. If you're unfamiliar, we're from Nebraska. And Pete Ricketts is just trying to murder us all.
He's a... Never mind, I was going to go into the purple people eaters.
People eaters.
But it was going to be bald and it was going to be Peter People Eaters.
Anyway, welcome.
It's been a long time since we've been on Instagram, so this is this is weird for me.
We had to do it. And we just got a new setup, so we hope you like it. Let us know.
Like and subscribe, you know.
We're getting used to the other video. Go ahead. You start talking about comics.
Okay. So, first I have We Live. This is issue number 2. This is...
Oh.
I thought that was you.
What? Like dying? Or farting?
Or farting or choking. I don't know. One of the two. I just thought it was you. Anyway, this is We Live. This is issue number 2. This is by the Miranda brothers. I just realized it said that, so I had to say it out loud.
Oh, okay.
Inaki and Roy Miranda. Okay. Cool. They're the writers, and then Inaki is also the artist. Interesting. I did not realize they were called the Miranda brothers. Anyway, okay, so in the first issue, you kind of figured out that they live in this post-apocalyptic world. An alien species gave them packages, essentially, that had like 5,000 little bracelets in it, and they are offering to save children. As long as they meet these certain requirements, they have to get the children to certain meeting places around the world by a certain time so they can be taken off of the planet and be saved so the human race can survive. This follows the story of a brother and a sister. The sister is older and she gives up her bracelet to the little brother so that he can survive.
Oh yeah.
They're within they're within a group of people who are also trying to get to a certain meeting point. In the first issue, their mode of transportation breaks down, so at this point they are walking, trying to get there, and they keep running into very bad creatures on the planet that are obviously like out to kill them and harm them, and they just keep running into a bunch of problems while trying to get to this meeting place. And then in this, you also see that they become friends with this boy who has his own little gorilla. I guess I don't know how to explain the relationship that's between them, because it almost seems like the gorilla kind of treats him as like a
sibling?
Like, yeah, a sibling, or like he just protects him all the time no matter what happens. So they have this gorilla and this boy who are looking after them and trying to protect them. So I think they're using that to get to where they need to go.
Okay.
But yeah, no, this issue is mostly, it tells the story of the other little boy that they meet and how he got to where he is. So it's I love this story. I was not expecting it to be as good as it is.
Yeah.
Especially because a lot of post-apocalyptic stories, they're all kind of the same, but this one is very different, especially with the world that they live in, because the danger within the world is all creatures that have been mutated somehow, rather than like humans who are just being terrible. So I like that little twist on it. Okay. Next I have Atlantis Wasn't Built for Tourists. This is issue number 3. This issue as our main character, who I always forget his name. Well, shoot. It's like Lucas or something like that. I'm sorry. I was not prepared for this. Lucas.
We're never prepared. We do this every Thursday. We're never
Did I
prepared.
say Lucas and it was Lucas?
I mean, you just said Lucas.
I can't remember what I said. Okay, anyway.
Do you want me to pause?
No, please. So he is a monster, I guess, hybrid human thing from another city. He ends up in this city called Atlantis, and he discovers that there are vampires within the city. So him doing what he thinks is protecting the city, he kills off most of the vampires, only to discover that the sheriff of the city, his brother, is a vampire, and they have a situation worked out between the regular civilians and the vampires to keep, like, the city safe. Mm-hmm. So by Lucas killing most of these vampires within the city, he kind of fucked with their treaty that they had. But this goes into Lucas's story and how he came to be in Atlantis, which is his mother somehow got pregnant with the sea monsters, like, baby, and it's like he doesn't go into detail, which I thought was really cool, because when he's explaining, like, his own city has, like, a treaty with, like, sea monsters, creatures and stuff, and he says, my mom ended up getting pregnant one day. It's like all he says. So when she realized she was pregnant, she started, like, skipping town, going different places, went as far as her money would take her, and he was born. Okay. And he is slowly, like, the sea monster part of him is taking over his human part, so he's making his way back home so that he can be a part of that treaty or whatever, but he's using the last of his humanity to kind of do good on his way back home. All right. Yeah, which I thought was pretty cool. And then within this city, the girl that was in the first issue, the whole reason why he is there, she got in that car accident or whatever. She's been trying to find a way to also get rid of the vampires within their city. So within the town, they do a really good job of pointing out what certain things they don't have within the town. Like, they don't have churches, they don't have, like, those sort of things that most towns do. Mm-hmm. And he always mentions there's, it's a town of law, there's no crime, there's no poverty, and he says multiple times, no black people, don't think I haven't noticed. He just keeps going, insinuating that that's why there's no crime within the city, which he's not okay with. It's awesome the way he keeps mentioning that. He's like, yeah, I know what you're doing, but you haven't answered my question yet. Why are there no black people? Like, that sort of thing. It's interesting and weird, but since there's no church, that's how the vampires are able to live. So she keeps going over to other towns to get holy water from the churches in there, and she's stockpiling a whole bunch of stuff because she is planning on taking out all the monsters.
All right. Interesting.
Yeah, so it's like, it's a weird story. I think there's only going to be, like, one issue left, but
yeah, that makes sense.
It's it's pretty interesting because I don't know, the turn that they took there with, like, him being a sea monster who's, like, losing his humanity. I was like, but what? Why is that what you are? It was a monster that I just wasn't expecting to see in a comic.
All right, yeah, no, I get that.
It was pretty good. I enjoy it.
All right. I guess next I have Something is Killing the Children. This is issue number 12.
Dang, there are 12 issues of that?
Yeah, dude, this comic just keeps, like...
Yeah, I was gonna say, it's
rolling on.
It's a lot.
And it's, like, it comes out, like, so frequently, but at the same time, the story is just, like, paced really, really well, where it's not, like, too little or too much. Mm-hmm. Like, I think there was that, like, kind of... It's, like, a slow burn. So you just have to be, like, it kind of starts out where the first issue gives you a lot, where you're just like, oh, fuck.
It just throws you right in there.
Yeah, they're monsters in this. And then it just kind of spreads itself out to, like, show you what it actually is. And honestly, I don't really want to talk about this too much, but I do highly, highly, highly recommend this book just because it is, like, a really good slow burn. It is really worth it. And this particular issue goes into a lot of depth within the story and gives you a lot of answers as to, like, where these monsters came from, how they came to be, and, like, what might come next. And you also have, like, that shadow group coming into the town and kind of putting their claws and their, like, fingers into everything. The story's really good.
Is there an end in sight? Like, is it something that's winding down?
I assume there's, like, an end at least to, like, this part of the story. But it does have, like, it does have that potential to, like, have another story or something else to it. Like, it can end here and be fine, but it does have that potential to, like, go at another level and go a different direction or a similar direction with, like, a different sort of idea. Especially considering the main character, James. I always think it's wrong because I'm like, it's just who the writer is.
Yeah.
I don't know if my brain will ever get over that. But I really, like, I would be interested to see what happens to him outside of this if he doesn't, like, die. Because I don't know, like, I feel like that's a potential, too.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like in these kind of stories, that's always the potential,
yeah,
like, no matter how main of a character they are.
Yeah, and I feel like even as, like, you know, wild as this story is with, like, monsters and just, like, it's fiction and it's, you know, but, like, there is, like, that basis, like, I don't know, I don't feel like they've given that weight yet. Like, you haven't lost any of those main characters.
So when you do, it's going to be a big deal.
Yeah, so when you finally do, it is going to be a big deal. And I think that's kind of what I've been waiting for. They've kind of, like, almost given it to you with, like, kind of side characters who are main characters, but they brought themselves back. And even in the last issue, you kind of thought that, like, Erica was done for. But I don't know.
Do you... Because I know with a lot of stories who do that, who kind of fake you out with, like, the deaths and stuff, does it ever annoy you?
No, and I don't think it's, like, necessarily a fake out, because I didn't think that she would die. I guess it depends on the fake out.
Right. Okay.
Like, I don't know. I don't know, because sometimes they can be cliche, and I guess it also depends on how well the writing is within a story. Because if it's something where you can kind of just, like, I'm just like, oh yeah, no, I know this isn't real. Or, you know, there's something more that will eventually, like, this person isn't going to be dead. And I think that's one of those things about comics is, like, you kind of have that aspect across the board almost, you know? And that's, like, an unfortunate thing because it just has happened so often that you're just like, okay, like, even though they die, they might just, like, come back. And I think that's more, like, a big two thing than, like, you know, in independent books.
Right.
But, like, it's still one of those things that's always there. And so, yeah, a fake out isn't really worth it unless you do it in, like, a very, like Lord of the Rings Gandalf sort of way.
Or in the saga, the Marco.
Alright, so on that note, I'm going to go to Seven to Eternity. This is issue number 14. This book is about to wrap up. It's been 5 years.
Finally, God. That's issue 12. That's number 14.
Yeah, and I've been reading this book for much, much longer. Like I said, it's been 5 years. That's what Rick Remender told me in the back of this book. So.
Oh my gosh.
But that's fine. Like, the art is 100% worth it. I just want to say Adam gets what he deserves, and I hope that he fucking dies.
Wait, is he the redhead?
Straight offense to him.
I've only read that first trade, so I'm still at the point where I'm like, oh, I kind of like him.
Once again, I don't really want to go too in-depth with this. I'll just kind of give a rough outline of, like, the story itself, because this is wrapping up the story. But Adam is our main character. His family has been against the Mud King, who is also called the King of Whispers. He gives people secrets, and they kind of just are now within his grasps, and he can control them. And if he dies, they all die. And Adam is meant to... He goes with some... They're called mosaics. They're basically, like, older, like, magicians who have very intense powers. And they're supposed to go destroy him. Adam basically double crosses them, and that's what the story is. He's a very unlikable character. He seems to have, like, good intentions, but at the core, you know that he's just a piece of shit. Personally, that's how I feel. I keep reading this story because the art is really good, and at the same time, it's kind of like a really good Western because you have, like, I don't know, I don't often read books where I don't like the main character as much as I don't like Adam. Like, I don't want to see this character succeed. Like, I don't.
Was that on purpose, or is that just something that, like...
I kind of assume it's on purpose, but...
I wonder if, like, I don't know, that's your interpretation of how the character is. Like, if I were to read it, would I feel differently about him?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you'd have to read it as a whole and see how you feel. Because, yeah, at the beginning, he seems like... It seems like his intentions are good. It seems like he is, like, wanting to sacrifice everything for his family. But at the same time... When he finds out that he is sick, he is willing to...
He's got nothing to lose.
He's got nothing to lose, and he still is saying that he wants to live to protect his family, but at the same time, I think those reasons are more than that, and I think they're selfish. And I think, you know, he's killed so many people... And he's protecting this person who has so much hold over so much of the world. And I don't know. Maybe he'll do the honorable thing in the end. But right now, I don't see him as an honorable person.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, I've only read that first trade, so I have no bearing on his character at all. I don't even remember, since it was at the beginning of quarantine when I read it, like, I don't even really remember him that much.
Yeah, and I mean, I really like this story, and I do think it's interesting how, like, at some points I am rooting for him, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I'm just like, ugh. Like, because his daughter ends up coming after him in the end, and it's just, I don't know.
I guess we'll see. Do you know how many issues there's supposed to be?
I don't remember. I know there's not too many left, like maybe 1 or 2.
Okay. I was going to say 1 would make sense, but then...
Yeah, like, I can't see it being more than 2, but I don't remember off the top of my head.
So it'll be done in, like, another year?
No, it did say it'll see me next month, so... But it's not gonna... It didn't say concluded, so I assume that I do have a few more issues. Okay. Art's killer, though.
Yeah, I know the art is really
the art
cool.
and colors are wonderful. It's one of the most beautiful books I think I've ever laid eyes on, if nothing else. You okay? Your eye's gonna come out? Please don't take your eyes out during this session. I asked you not to do this.
Sorry, I'll try not to. Okay.
All right, so now.
We both have Frank at Home on the Farm. This is issue number 1. This is about a man who completes his journey in the war. That was not the right wording for it. After the war is over, a man goes home and discovers that his family is gone. And so he's trying to find them, but within this town there's like a lot of kind of strange things, strange people that are there, and he never gets any real answers. Also, while he's there, he is hearing voices.
Yeah.
And he can't figure out if they're like in his head or if they're actually being spoken.
I assume they're the animals?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure this is his family. Like, they got changed into farm animals. That's what I took from it anyway, and it has to do... Or, like, maybe that's what all the animals in the town are. That's why that dog reacted the way that it did or something.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. I couldn't figure it out, and I was just like, I don't know, I feel real, like, dumb, or this just isn't giving me, like, some form of, like, I'm missing a piece.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I only assume that because the old man, who is his dad's friend, was, like, a horrible accident, wasn't it? So I feel like something happened on the farm, and it, like, turned them, or the animals somehow are taking over and, like, did something to them.
All right.
I don't know. It does have something to do with the animals. I just thought, like, that weird eerie green glowing there on the cover, like maybe that had something to do with it. And the fact that he just seems to be losing his mind.
Yeah, he seems to be losing his shit.
Mm-hmm. He's not exactly a solid person.
I mean, could be some PTSD though, too.
Yeah. That's what I figured, like, the eyes were, because it keeps showing them, like, 2 different colors, and, like, sometimes one of them will be, like, dilated, and one of them won't. So maybe this is all just, like, a weird hallucination
like
he's having. Yeah, like, maybe he's injured in, like, some hospital bed, and that's just, like, what he's seeing. Mm-hmm. But, yeah, I was interested in this when I read the solicit for it, and it's exactly what I thought it was going to be, like, just very unclear of what's happening, like very short story. So I'm stoked on it.
I just ordered this first issue, so you can just let me bring the issues to work and let me read them.
Yeah, and I don't feel like, because Scout series are only like 3 or 4 issues long, so
yeah, it's not too much.
That's why I get them, because I'm like, oh, these are nice short stories. I love this. Yeah.
All right, so then I had Heather read this real fast. This is a girl walks home
alone at night.
A girl walks home alone at night. This is a movie.
Yes, that is a movie. It's in a comic.
And now it's in a comic.
Yes, it's in a reading book.
And the art's pretty cool. Here's a little glimpse.
Yeah, it's got like that nice little newspaper.
Yeah.
Newspaper paper. I don't know what newspaper.
Just paper.
Yeah.
Like,
it's got that material.
Yeah. It just feels nice.
Yeah. It's it smells like a new book too. This is a Behemoth comic, which I've actually never read anything from them.
Yeah, same.
That I know of, anyway.
No, I have not either. And, I don't know, it was one of those things that just was, like, quick.
Yeah. It's exactly what you think it would be.
Yeah, it was, like, not a lot of words. I haven't watched the movie, so I don't know how it relates.
It's pretty much the narrated version of the movie. Because the movie is, like, super short, too. It's, like, straight and to the point.
Okay.
That's what I liked about, I think, the art, and that is because the movie is black and white, and so reading the comic and seeing the art very similar to that, I was like, okay, that's cool. I like how they did it.
All right, I think I'm going to watch the movie after.
It's a good idea.
I read this comic.
It's a good one.
So, all right, talk about your smut.
Here's my smut. This is Faithless 2, number 6. This concludes this chapter of the story. So Faith pretty much finds out that the man she's banging is an angel, and then the other man that she's banging, who is the dad of the girl that she's banging, is the actual devil. And so she's trying to figure out a way. So she sold her soul to him. There's that. So she's trying to figure out if, like, the reason why she is an artist now is because of that, or if because she is actually a talented artist. So she's trying to find her way away from him, because her big art project was made from her blood. So she is like, yeah, I'm going to use your blood for this while you're sleeping and you don't know about it. And when she puts...
The angel or the devil?
The devil.
Okay.
So when she puts his blood on the canvas, it creates a wormhole or like a portal of some sorts, and it ends with her like disappearing, and her agent, we discover, was pretty much worshiping the devil, and something happens to her, which leads into the next story, which apparently will be back in 2021. So yay!
I told you.
Faithless Part 3, which, I mean, I'm kind of curious to know, like, where Faith went. Like, when she used his blood and opened a portal, did she go to hell? Where did she go?
Yeah, I mean, that is like an intriguing thing to do at the end of a story.
Here's the naughty cover, which actually isn't that naughty. It's very, very tame.
I feel like all of these covers have been kind of tame.
Yeah, but when you put them together, which I'm going to do tonight to create the connecting photo, I bet it's still pretty tame. There's just snakes going in and out of holes.
As life goes. Alright, I got
Rorschach.
And this is issue number 2. Got that peach.
Momoko?
Right. Yeah, isn't this the peach Momoko?
I think so.
Looks like it. I honestly did not look at it, and it doesn't tell me on the fucking thing. Anyway, we'll just go with what I said the first time.
Yes.
And I don't know, they're just trying to figure out who Rorschach is.
Rorschach. It's Jackie Earl Ray, right? Jackie Ray Earl? Ray Jackie Earl? Something.
I don't want to rehash what happens in this book.
That's okay.
I read it.
Is it just like the first one where it was just... You just really have no need for it?
Yeah, I have no need for it. I don't know. Is it worth it for the art? Yeah.
Who does the art for it?
Ouch. It is Jorge Fornes.
Let me see that. Yeah, Peach Momoko.
Yeah. Somehow I did not see that. All the words just blended together. Yeah. I can't read, actually. I don't know how we do this podcast.
Well, I mean, really, you can decipher what the words are based off of, like, body language and pictures. So if you have a good artist, then you know what the story is without even having to read the words.
Yeah, I suppose you're not wrong.
Blood.
Yep. You solved the case.
I know the story. I know what happens.
So there's a mystery afoot. That's all I'm going to say.
A Rorschach mystery.
Rorschach.
Okay. And now we're on to one of my favorite books in the entire world. This is Once and Future. This is number 13.
Also same. One of my favorite books as well.
Yes, it's so good. This is the first issue in this next story arc, which is very exciting. It's a few months down the line after the last issue took place. Duncan and his girl, Sera? Rose.
I'm pretty sure it's Rose.
Yeah, no, it is. That makes sense. They are kind of doing their own investigations and stuff where he lives. Meanwhile, Bridget is back in her nursing home or another nursing home somewhere else. It starts with her being visited by magpies, which I love magpies. I thought it was really cool.
Same.
But she pretty much gets like a bad omen and then gets a hold of Duncan and is like, hey, we have some more stuff that is happening. Sorry, you gotta come back. And it's them going on their next adventure.
Yeah. I love how it, like, did the time hop in such a very, like, concise way. I do also, I'm gonna ruin this, they fight Nazis.
Yeah. Which is...
Or kind of fight Nazis,
awesome.
I guess.
They pick a fight with Nazis and Duncan gets the poop beat out of him.
Gets his head just straight butted.
My favorite panel in this whole thing is like when they're all fighting and stuff and Duncan's just laying on the ground covering his head. I love him so much, and you can see him down there doing it too. Like he's not even trying to like get up or anything, and yeah, he's so cute. I love Duncan.
And in this issue, they do bring in a character that they have alluded to in the past that only makes sense within a whole Arthur, Merlin, England thing.
Long live the king.
So, yeah, Once and Future. Can't recommend this book enough, especially if you like any sort of myths and lore or stories in general. And it's, like, really approachable in that way. It's not, like, overly haughty.
It's really good at giving you... I don't know why I just
use that verbiage.
Because they're British.
I am not. I am from Nebraska.
They're really good at introducing you to these stories without overwhelming you with all the information, just giving you enough that like you understand what's happening in it, and maybe it'll interest you in reading the actual stories.
Yeah.
Which I think is really, really cool. I love that story. It's so cool. It's just the coolest story I've ever read.
I do like the humor that's like in there too, because it's like there's a lot of serious things going on. They're like fighting a lot, and like it seems like a lot of action, but there is just like a lot of humor like inserted into there where it's not just like dopey.
Yeah, and I do love how like the three main characters, like Duncan, Rose, and Bridget, they're all very, very different in their personalities and stuff, but you can see like why they work together so well. And honestly, like Bridget was fleshed out completely in that first issue. We didn't even have to know anything about the story before we were like, oh my god, this woman.
She's perfect. She's funny. She's hilarious.
Please be my grandmother. They're just, the characters in here are just built really well, and, you know, cannot speak highly enough about Dan Mora's art.
Yeah, same. And then, Tamara Von Villan. Her colors. Just like, they just match
Beautiful.
so well. Like, it's like they were meant to be together.
This whole team.
Yeah, no, I say the whole, like, fucking book is just so solid. I don't know. It's just, like, kind of a match made. I wish they would do more books together.
It's like when we read The White Trees for the first time. Like that trio, same. That's like, what it feels like is just, you know, when you find people that work together well on books, you just want everything done by them because there's no going back.
Yeah, and I mean, this book is really consistent, and it's, like, coming out, too. And even when there's a break, it's like, okay, I'm kind of glad just because I can have, like, a breath, and then it's just like, but now I want to jump back in, like, every time.
Fucking back.
Yeah.
I love it. It's, probably one of my favorite stories. I just love it so much. It's so cool.
All right, you're next. I'm going to run away for a second.
Okay. I don't have much to say about this, so I'll try to drag it out.
Talk longer.
Okay, so this is Shadow Service. I can't talk that slow. I tried. This story is about a girl, main character, who kind of is a witch. She discovered her powers when she was little, and ever since then she's kind of been on her own. She went through foster care and stuff like that, but because of this power that's inside of her that she's able to harness without any explanation why, she's been outcast from a lot of situations. She's being recruited by this group called the MI666. They are a magic branch of the government, essentially. British intelligence, something like that. Because of her powers. So this issue kind of goes into one of the people that she is working on the team with. His name is Coyle. He does not like her, like right off the bat, just doesn't like her, and she doesn't understand why. So this goes into his past and why he has a problem with witches and how it affected him. This story is actually really cool. This one was confusing to me because I didn't remember Coyle's name. I only knew who he was because throughout the last couple issues, he's been kind of an asshole to the main character for no reason. So when this like story starts, it's him and his wife, and I was like, I don't know who this guy is because it's just hard to tell because it doesn't look like how he normally looks. And then when it jumps back into like present day, it takes place like a few hours after the last issue had ended. And in the last one, our main character, I can never remember her name, she had willingly taken on a demon to possess her so that she could save the person it was previously in. So this one starts with her being like exorcised in the MI666, and I was just like, I don't know what's going on. Oh, no. I had to remember that part, and then I was like, oh, okay, that makes sense, because I was like, I feel like that looks like her, but she's not a demon.
Yeah.
And then I remembered like what had happened. But otherwise, like, the monsters in this, like the art is really, really cool. I really like the colors. I honestly don't really care for the story. Like, not that it's like bad or anything. It's just, it's an all right story. I'm just not invested for that reason.
Yeah. Like,
I'm more invested in like, whoa, what kind of monsters are going to be in the next one? Like, I'm curious to see how they're going to draw it.
Okay.
Like, I mean, there's scenes in there where I'm just
cool
like,
looking,
that's
for sure.
That's really awesome. But like when it comes to the main character and like her plot line, I just don't really care for it. I like all like the side stories that they're doing with like the demons and stuff like that. I think that's really cool. But I don't know. I think they're working too hard on trying to get me invested in this one specific character, and she's like the least interesting out of all of them. So, which is fine. Like I guess it's cool how it's like that because I'm getting bits and pieces of everyone else, so.
Alright.
It's cool. And I don't think it's going to be too many more issues. I think it's supposed to be like 6, so.
Alright, not too much.
Yeah, it's not too bad at all.
All right, I have Dark Interlude. This is issue number 1. This is technically a sequel of Fearscape, and this is a very like meta book because you have the narrator is also part of the story, so he's kind of like breaking the fourth wall and talking to the reader. I'm just gonna read the back because Vault made it easy for me, and
we love Vault.
And I know I understood what was happening in this book, but I feel like the back of the book will just say it better than I can. Excuse me. Excuse me. After
What a way to get started.
Yeah,
I love that.
I can't do this. After the stunning success of Fearscape comes a dark interlude, the story of I can see so well now, of No. The only offense to literature greater than the loathsome synopsis is the sequel. I will not stand idle while some poor excuse for an editor mangles and confuses my story, which is intact, perfect, and concluded, with this derivative drivel. Mark my words, this nonsense has nothing to do with my tale. I am not in it, I do not condone it, and you, dear reader, should not buy it. And that is by Henry Henry, who is a character in this book.
Well, I have to read that just because the way that it was worded, I was like, hold on.
That's how, like, the whole entire book is.
Okay.
Like, literally, that is how the whole book. And this is Henry Henry right here.
I love that. That's so cool.
I have not read Fearscape. I wanted to, didn't get on it in time. I probably should have just ordered the trade. He apparently kills a character named Arthur, who Henry Henry plagiarizes work from, and the sequel is supposed to be like one of those things where like he's in prison and writing this book to help like build his character and make him a better person, and there's boobs.
Yeah, there is. You know, that's why I was reading this page.
Yeah, I know that's why you're reading that page. That's why every time I watch a horror movie with
good art.
with Chris, I'm like, oh, we're both just like, there's boobs.
Boobs.
Because we are still children and boobs are a thing.
Oh, I do that too.
But yeah, the book is really interesting, and I don't think you have to read Fearscape to understand this, but for fucking sure... For sure.
You missed us.
Yeah, you missed us, Patrick. For sure, you have to be ready for a very heady, like, meta ridiculousness. It's fun, but at the same time, it's just like... I wish I had the best adjective to, like, describe it with right now, because it's just like... I don't know.
I'll have to read it, and I'll
can you send me a list of adjectives? Because I have a bunch in my head, but I don't think any of them quite fit it right. Because it almost just like, it's there, it's on the tip of my tongue.
Titillating?
No.
Oh. I was just thinking of boobs.
I was saying you wanted to say tit, didn't you?
Sorry.
All right.
Okay. So next we have this little comic called Stillwater. This is issue number 3.
This is by our best friend, Chip Zdarsky.
Chip Zdarsky. This is about the main character trying to get used to living in the town of Stillwater. Because he was forced to stay there by the judge while his mother was forced to undergo the dark reality of 6 feet under.
That was good. That was good.
Thank you.
So yeah, in Stillwater, nobody dies, apparently.
And he's trying to understand why that is, what makes it so special about that town. So he decides to reach out to the doctor and form kind of a friendship with him.
Yeah, but the town doesn't like their secrets to be told. So we'll see where this goes.
Mm-hmm. I guess, interested in all the characters that they have, like the advisor or whatever, the old woman who like takes care of all the death certificates and stuff. I had not even thought about that. So for that to be like introduced, I was like, oh yeah, they would have to worry about that.
Yeah. I don't know. I once again, I don't know if you saw, I watched this movie, Dead and Buried. It's a 1980s horror film during October.
You told me about that one.
And it reminds me so much of Stillwater because the whole town is dead. Yeah. And they're basically like, they can just come back to life. Mm-hmm. It's wild.
So do you think that's what the case is in Stillwater? They're actually dead?
Maybe.
Not alive, and they just think that they're still alive? Ooh, that would be interesting. Oh, the part with the kid?
Yeah.
That was so good. Yeah. I completely forgot about that.
I don't know, like, why wouldn't it be the case that they're already all dead? The water is way too still.
It's eerily still.
But the thing is, like, in Dead and Buried, it also takes... Wait, no, this isn't a coastal town, is it?
No, I feel like it's in the middle of nowhere. Like, that's why it was so weird, is it was just, like, right in the middle. I don't know, though. That could just be, like, what I was thinking.
Yeah, I don't know if there was, like, a... We'll have to read the first 2 issues. Mm-hmm. Look. But, yeah, no, it's interesting to see, like,
sorry.
what... No, it's okay.
I apologize to the microphone. Oh, sorry.
My bad. Didn't mean to touch you.
So stupid.
I think this is a pretty good horror book, though.
Yeah, because it's very subtle.
Mm-hmm. And it is one of those things where you're just like, well, what's happening here?
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, obviously it's going to be building up to a big event thing that's going to be happening in it, but I'm curious to see, like, what our main dude is going to do, because you know that he's just a turd. And you know...
I wouldn't say a turd. I think he's just hard-headed. He's stubborn.
Yeah.
And I mean, yeah, those people can be turdy, but like when it comes to situations like this, are you just gonna be like forced to live out your life here? Or are you gonna like try to figure out what the fuck's going on?
I mean, if my only friend was dead and I was stuck in that town, I'd be like, all right, dude, let's just see what's going on here. Yeah, so.
You're lucky for you. You have many friends.
That's not true. You're my only friend. I don't like anyone else.
Wow. I hope none of your other friends are listening to this. And if they are, I'm really sorry. That's not true. I've heard you on many occasions say many good things about a lot of your friends.
I know. I have multiple friends.
I can't, but that's it, like, right? Like, you can't underestimate the fact that you have many friends outside of, like, that one friend. And, like, also, if that one friend dies, don't you want, like, aren't you the Punisher? Don't you want justice?
Yeah, that's true. I am the Punisher. I would do something like that. But, I mean, I think I would be a lot stealthier about trying to escape the town, though. He doesn't seem like he's trying very hard to, like, keep it low. And I guess he doesn't realize that what you gotta do is you gotta play it safe for the first few weeks so they stop following you around. So they aren't so suspicious of you.
Yeah, just be like, yeah, this is my life now.
Yeah, act like you've adapted.
I live forever.
When their guard is down, that's when you sneak out. Like, he's clearly never had to do this stuff before. Like, I forget he didn't
never had to assimilate.
Well, I was going to say, or, like, sneak out of your house. Which I forgot he didn't have a mom, so...
Yeah, I suppose he does try to sneak out several times.
Yeah. He didn't grow up in a very strict household, clearly, because he never learned how to sneak out. It's chill.
All right, go.
All right.
Go. Talk about your comic.
All right. So I have Sera and the Royal Stars. This is issue number 9. Sera is reunited with her allies, the Royal Stars. She's still trying to figure out how to defeat the Stars of Draco. And she is given the power of this corrupting sword called, what does it say here? Light's End. Basically, whoever wields the sword is taken over by like a darkness that allows you to give into like your baser thoughts and stuff like that.
Interesting.
So none of the Royal Stars can wield the sword because they've all seen like a lot of death and destruction in their lives. They've seen a lot of their loved ones die, and if they take the sword, it will compel them to exact revenge. Essentially, that's what it is.
All right.
She's the only one who can wield it because she has the power of, I forget what the guy's name is, but a few issues previously she had taken, like she had absorbed him pretty much because he was dying, and he said, this is the only way my light can go on. Mm-hmm. So she absorbed his light, and because of that, she is able to wield the sword and not be overtaken by the darkness. So once she figures that out, she realizes they finally have a way to defeat the Stars of Draco, which will be concluded in the last issue that is coming out next. Okay. I still, I finally, with this issue, understand what is happening, which is good. But I just gotta say, the art, honestly,
it's only taken so long.
Yeah.
You know, which is fine.
I mean, the first story arc, I understood what was going on, but when the second one came around and they were introducing, all these other characters and telling their history and stuff, I just kept getting confused because it's just a lot to take on, a lot of mythical creatures that you have to remember all this stuff for. And then because they spent so long doing that, I kind of forgot what the original goal was supposed to be because they just weren't doing it anymore. But yeah, with this issue, they did a very good job of explaining, okay, we're almost here. We're almost at our end goal. This is what we need to do. And again, this art was just really freaking cool.
Yeah, no, the colors are good too.
Yeah. So if there's one thing that I can say about this story, despite all the confusion, it was beautiful. And that's what made me want to read it to begin with, was I had flipped through that first issue and just had seen how bright and colorful and fantastic it was. So everything else that came with it was cool too, I guess. But 10 issues, and then Sera and the Royal Stars is done.
Okay. I have Marvel Voices, Indigenous Voices. This is celebrating Native American History Month, or Heritage Month, sorry. And this is a book done by a few different Native American people about Native American Marvel characters. I was flipping through this at work yesterday, and I did really enjoy the first one. I think that was the only one I read all the way through, but I just thought it was really well done. Yeah, no, the colors are really great. The stories are really fun. Yeah, no, Loki is in the first story. I really did enjoy, there was a New Mutant story with Danny Moonstone, and I really enjoyed that. I actually just, really liked all of them for, different reasons. So, I would suggest it.
Yeah, no, and I feel like having a spotlight on the native characters, superheroes and stuff within the Marvel Universe was a really cool idea.
Yeah. No, it was.
Yeah, this is great.
And it was important, too.
It's my dude. Okay, cool. I'm glad you enjoyed that. I'm going to have to borrow that because I did want to read that, and I don't think that we'll have any left on the wall on Saturday. I don't know for sure, though. I'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't look over there yesterday or today, so.
We only had 2 left yesterday. Mm-hmm. And, I mean, we didn't have very many to begin with, but I just don't feel like we will. But I'll check.
All right, so now, Big Girls.
This is number 4. This is about us. This is Big Girls.
So the Jacks are mutated boys who seemingly still have sentience. And Big Girls are kind of have the same disease that the Jacks do, but they are big women who still have sentience.
Yeah, they're able to. They don't turn into monsters. Yeah. I think that's the important thing about the 2 of them is the difference is the men or the boys evolve into some weird mutated man monster.
Yeah. And Ember, our main character, who is a big girl, has been, just fighting with feelings that Jacks have, some form of, idea of what's actually happening.
They can feel and think more than they're led to believe.
And so this is her kind of coming to terms with, the way she was found. It also delves into the background of 2 of our main characters that we've kind of just got, glimpses of. both on opposing sides and why they're on those opposing sides. I don't know, I still really like this book, and I really did like this issue because I did like that idea of, like, what they delved into and, like, what the background of these characters are and what, like, is driving them to do what they're doing.
Yeah, I wasn't expecting that history.
Yeah, no, same.
Which I thought was really, really cool. And you can see, like, how desperate the parents get when they realize that this could happen to their child.
Yeah, no, I don't know, there's not a lot to say about this book because it is, like, not basic, but that's, like, an overall gleam of it.
Right, yeah. If you have read from the beginning, then you have an idea what the story is. It's just evolving with the characters, not necessarily the story itself.
Yeah, you are getting that character background, but you're also getting that background on, like, what you, like, the Jacks maybe,
right,
or, like, how this, like, disease came to be, or I guess, I don't know, is it a disease?
I don't think it's a disease so much as it's just, like, a genetic mutation.
Yeah, that's a better word.
But still, you just don't know how it came to exist, so I don't know. I think the history behind that would be very interesting to see if it was maybe something that happened between those two people. Yeah. I don't know.
So, yeah, that's on the hush-hush.
We'll figure it out eventually.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, I have this cute little book called Desperate Pleasures. This is by M.S. Harkness. This is a memoir more than anything. It's just about this certain point in the author's life where she had kind of a turning of events. It goes into her casual dating through Tinder and her sex work that she had done, and all the while trying to kind of unpack her childhood trauma and discover how that affects her personality, like, as an adult, if it does at all, and how she can move forward from it while still being able to maintain relationships and connections with people without, using that as an excuse to not do that sort of thing. It's kind of a difficult read. Like, a lot of the things that happen in here are very, very real. I do have to show you how she draws herself as a baby, though, because it made me laugh.
Yeah, you showed me.
So, the crying one?
Yeah.
Okay, well, that's the one that I just discovered recently.
That one's good.
It's very, very good. So there's, like, a section where she talks about how her father had sexually abused her for a majority of her childhood life, and then she changes her art style completely when she goes into, like, explaining her childhood and what it was like being an only child with her mother and her father in the house, and then how she kind of adapted when her brother was born. It's a very, very... It's really good. It's really good to read. But it's very difficult. There's a lot of situations that made me uncomfortable, but I understand the need for putting it in there.
It's important to be honest. And I think, like, that sort of thing is, like, I don't know.
There was a...
I don't want to say, like, it's a stigma, but, like, putting people in those uncomfortable situations and making them realize, like, how these things happen and maybe how often these things happen is, like, incredibly important.
Yeah. And I mean, that's, like, that whole section that I told you about where she's, like, doing a comedy routine talking about being molested. But this part here, I'm just going to read it, is, like, I feel very important because it's relatable to any amount of trauma that you've had in your life. Most of you have been traumatized to a varying degree by something. It doesn't make you brave by default. Moreover, I never told anyone about my life and had it improve anything. Men specifically do not want to hear about that shit ever. They'd rather talk about fun shit like having kids and marriage. But seriously, a big part of growing up is figuring out what's you and what's some adaptive behavior, or if it even matters anymore. Because at a certain point, it's no longer cute to be a mess. It's your job to get your shit together. This whole book was just really, really good. It hit in a way I wasn't expecting it to, because when I had read the description for it, I was like, oh, cool, just like a cute little memoir about, non-relationships, drug dealing, and sex work. it's a story that I'm interested in reading.
Yeah.
And then I was like, it got real really quickly. But it's very, very important. And it goes into how she decided to become a personal trainer, which is what I told Champ, like how I discovered her to begin with. I follow her on Instagram because I love watching her lift weights because she's so strong. It's incredible. And that's another like overlying theme within the book is like, despite all of these like terrible things she's doing to herself, to her like mental state, to her body and stuff, she's still working out and trying to take care of herself at the same time. And there's like this weird thing between the two of them where it's like, okay, I'm destroying myself, but I'm also, taking care of myself.
Yeah.
So is this
self-care?
Right. Yeah. So it's her reaching that point in her life where she's like, is this self-care? Yeah. She decides that she eventually needs to just like take care of herself because that's what she needs to do in order to survive.
It takes so much to get to that point.
Oh yeah. And I think that's why I like that so much is because it reminds me of that movie Shame.
I don't know if I've ever seen it.
It's just about a sex addict, but it like drops you into this one point in this person's life where it's not necessarily like a good or a bad situation. Like this is something that this person has always been going through, but you get to see the point where they decide, do I want to keep doing this or am I going to change? Yeah. And I always thought that was a very interesting point of view to see because when you're watching it from the outside, I'm always going like, well, yeah, of course they're going to change. Like this is their turning point. Like this is when they realize they're at rock bottom, but that's not the case.
Yeah, I know. It takes so much more work to get there.
And that's why I like that because that actually is the point where she's like, this is where I need to change and you get to see it happening and you get to see the decisions that led up to it. So I would recommend it 100%. It's fantastic.
All right.
And I didn't even get it for myself. I got it as a gift for someone and accidentally read it. So
yeah. No, that sounds really, really good. I might order that for myself.
It's worth it. What was it, like 16?
So, yeah, no, when I saw the price, it was like $17.
Yeah.
No,
perfect.
Yeah,
and you can buy it straight from her website too.
All right.
So.
All right.
Yeah.
I'll make my choices.
Yeah. Make a good choice.
All right, so then I have You Look Like Death. This is Tales from the Umbrella Academy. This follows Claus. And he is being kind of used by this old woman who you find out is...
Sorry,
No, that's the only way to describe it, and it's true. I mean, not sex-wise, but...
I just immediately thought of that episode of It's Always Sunny where Charlie just goes, ew, and starts laughing when they say you have to share a bed with the old man, and they're like, you share a bed with an old man, and... That's just what it reminded me of.
But yeah, no, this old woman is using him to possess her with old film stars so that she can be better at auditioning, basically, and, like, get roles. And you find out that she is actually not necessarily what she thinks she is. Or not what you think she is, rather.
Saw that from a mile away.
So yeah, it's weird. There's some gross parts. There's some vampires. There's a lot of stuff going on in there, but it's a lot of fun, actually.
Are you enjoying this more than the other ones, you think?
I mean, I still haven't read the second or...
That's right. Okay.
Or
I remember you saying that now.
parts of the Umbrella Academy. So yeah, so far. I mean, and I liked it more than that, like, Hazel and Cha-Cha one-shot. Because I don't really care about Hazel and Cha-Cha.
I know. I think Klaus was like the only one that I really enjoyed.
And like, this does focus on Klaus, and I don't know if I like enjoy this character as much as I just like enjoy this kind of like story of just like weirdness.
Oh, we got a mega fan over here.
Yeah, you'll have to take a picture of us in your shirt while watching us.
Do it. Do it
right now. And then tell us.
Wait, can we join? Can you join us?
Can you join us and show us our shirt? Show us our shirt.
Show us our shirt.
Show us you in our shirt.
Okay. If he does join, bring it up on here. Screenshot that. If you can. I'm not sure how that works.
I don't know. I don't know if this will happen.
Because it is lagging. Pretty far behind here. Okay. We'll just keep talking. And
if Patrick joins to show us his shirt, we'll make sure to show every single person on this earth.
Every single one.
That is amazing.
All 1,800 people.
So now we have Willow. This is issue number 5. This is the last issue.
This is the last one of this cute little Willow series.
And let me tell you, dog.
Very anticlimactic.
Yeah, this was kind of one of those things that you just went up. You just went up and then you just plateaued right out of the story.
Yeah, it was literally like
I don't even know if you went up. You just like went. Bloop.
No, it was
just. Blue.
It was just Willow in a rowboat, and you think that she keeps coming to the waterfall, but she's not. She's just like treading water the whole time.
Yeah, I just don't know how to. I don't know how to describe. Patrick, if you scroll up to the top, there's a thing that says send a request to be in Talk Comics to Me live video.
Does that show up on his end?
That should. I'm on Champenstein. Oh, it happened.
Oh, I accidentally waved at someone too. Oh, not accidentally. I waved at someone. Hi. Whoop. Okay. Are you coming? Yeah!
I'm flexing my flex. I'm kind of a flex.
Okay, hold on. I got it. Let me see it again. Let me see your shirt.
You want me to film you?
Okay. I got... Thank you.
That's wonderful.
Thank you. We needed that.
What comic books did you read this week, Patrick?
I got through all of mine already.
Yeah, what are they?
I don't remember. Just the good ones.
Just the good ones, huh?
Symbiont Spider-Man. The Joker Harley, whatever.
Criminal Sanity.
I don't know. You filled my profile. You tell me what I got.
Yeah, you got Criminal Sanity. Yeah, we saw that one. You got the King in Black.
Dude, I pull your profile and like 45 other people's.
Yeah, but mine just stand out because it's the best books.
That's true.
I mean, your name is actually right above my name, too, so it is one of those things where I sometimes am like, is this my profile or is this Patrick's profile? But then you usually have some shit I would never get on there.
I did put an Atlantis Rising. Huh?
Huh?
It's so good. I think it's my favorite of the Hill House books.
The Plunge?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I forgot that hardcover came out.
You read Basketful of Heads, right?
I did. I've read all of the hardcovers that have come out.
How did the end of that story go?
Basketful of Heads?
Yeah. Because I read all but, like, the last issue.
In a basket? Just as the name suggested. What?
You're ridiculous. Do you like our new setup? Is this cool?
The farther back?
Yeah, the farther back. We actually got a new light.
Yeah.
And the light has a little phone thing on it. Oh, God.
Yeah, the light does have a phone thing on it. It's like this.
Yeah, no, it looks good.
All right. Okay, we'll let you go and we'll finish our thing. And
Okay. I'm boring already.
no, you're not. I mean, if you want to hear, do you want to join in the X of Swords?
Absolutely not.
So we'll see you on the other side.
Okay.
All right, on the flizzy flop.
Yes.
See you on the flippity flip.
Okay, goodbye. We love you. I removed him. Okay.
All right. So
Okay.
So now, whenever my phone has just been done.
It probably didn't... Oh, shoot. Probably just didn't register. Okay.
Oh. So now.
Oh, my gosh. Sorry, Shelby. I have to decline this right now. Okay. Okay, so next we're going to talk about the X of Swords here. This is X
Swords.
Force. Swords. This is issue number 14, but it's part 17 of 22. This continues the fight with the swords.
Are there swords in this one? Yes, there are swords.
Yes,
in this
a little
one.
bit.
So, yeah, dude, there's a lot that goes on in, like, these, like, last few issues. I mean, you have Storm and Death, and I'm just gonna say the Storm and Death fight was one of my favorite things. I had to stop and show Chris because I was just like, oh, fuck, because he doubts her, and Storm is just like, bitch, you think I just draw my powers from my mutant abilities? Fuck you. And then she just, like, kills Death.
Yeah, it was really good. I loved all of the, like, little battles with Captain Avalon and stuff. I thought his were really good. I can't even, like, explain to you which one was my favorite because there were so many, like, good ones that they didn't go into full detail with. They just kind of touched on. It's, it's very difficult, but I love the stories. It's like we were talking about, like, the last couple issues I felt were kind of borderline silly, but I feel like that was because
it needed to be.
It needed to be because these next three are just so heavy.
And I think we're about to get into something that's, like, even harder to chew and, like, something that we're going to have to take in. And, like, that little bit of, like, I guess, light is there. So I guess now we have Hellions number 6 in part 18 of 22 of X of Swords. And this is the Hellions trying to get the swords, or so they think, from the other team. And Sinister basically plays everybody.
Yeah, he's a turd. He's a big turd.
He's a big turd. This issue fucking sucks. Like, this issue blows. And I knew it was going to. I knew something bad was going to happen.
Yeah, you had said that a few days ago.
But it wasn't like this. I thought something bad was going to happen where it was just like, you know, they were going to die because somebody was going to kill them. Not that, like, Sinister was going to be like, a spoiler double-crossing bitch.
Yeah. He really went for it.
Yeah, no, he really did. And it's just like, I don't know. I don't know why I didn't expect him to, but I felt like, I don't know, with all just how Apocalypse is, I was hoping the same.
I'm going to get up real quick and look. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
Okay. I forgot that I waved. So that's what that was. But yeah, it's not cool to see one of the bad guys turn good guys turn back to a bad guy and do what they've always done. And I didn't like it, especially because we were at the point now with, like, Krakoa and all that where it's like, you aren't good or bad, you're just a mutant and you're either with us or not.
Yeah.
And so seeing those people go back to that was just very... but it doesn't have to be.
His name is not Mr. Sinister anymore to us.
No, now he's just the Grinch.
Okay, I'm gonna move on because we'll get stuck otherwise.
Yeah, and we can't talk too much about them anyway since it's nearing the end.
And so now we have Cable number 6, part 19 of 22.
Art by Phil Baby Art Noda.
Yeah, Phil Noto. I'm just gonna have a child to paste all of your X-Men books.
I'm just gonna take
baby.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I'm just gonna get, like, copies of the Apocalypse face, the one face that Apocalypse makes in this issue.
Just like
that
straight.
one. Yeah, I'm just gonna get, like, several copies of that face, and that's what's gonna be along my child's wall. Just like constant
the border.
Disappointment. Yeah. They're just gonna look up all the time and be like, Daddy Apocalypse is disappointed in me again. And that's the goal.
That's amazing. So in this issue, Cable takes on Bay. Bye.
The Blood Moon?
The Blood Moon.
Yeah, bye.
Doug's wife. And
cute.
It is really cute because Cable kind of holds up to not murder her to help Doug's feelings. And I think this is how he gets his arm. I think this is how Cable gets his fucking steel arm. Is that Bay fucking breaks the shit out of his arm.
Yep.
And maybe I'm wrong. We'll see in the future, but that's my prediction, is that's part of the whole thing. But Cable, like, calls out to his parents and is basically just like, we're fucked. I don't know what we're gonna do.
I forget her name. It was Doug's large wife.
And I don't know. The mutants kind of get a one-up, but...
Barely,
and then we're gonna kind of fall into Apocalypse and Genesis fighting.
Which isn't going to be fun for anyone. Least of all them.
And not me.
No.
So yeah, next week is the last 3 issues of X of Swords, and honestly, I cannot say enough good things about, like, this, like...
No, pleasantly
event.
Surprised at how much I enjoy this.
Yeah, and I mean, like you said before, too, like, last week was one of those things where I felt like it was, like, a falter, but as I, like, am reading more, and as I think about the other issues, it is one of those things where it is a balance. And I think there are some weaker issues than others, but as a whole, considering there are many different artists, many different writers, it just flows so well, and I don't think I've read an event that flows in a way where I just, like, enjoy it so much, especially across, like, so many different books, but it's one cohesive thing, and it's not like, you know, with, like, War of the Realms or, like, King in Black or whatever other events that I've read where it's just, like, you have, like, okay, this is Amazing Spider-Man chunk you have to get, there's this chunk you have to get, there's this chunk you have to get, and those things also they feel choppy within the whole. Mm-hmm. This doesn't feel that way.
No, not at all. And I mean, it's even one of those where if you weren't reading the X of Swords, but you were still reading, like, certain series that contain X of Swords comics, like, it would all make sense still. Mm-hmm. I feel like you wouldn't have to read all of them to know what was going on in the Cable series just because 2 issues of Cable have it. Like, you get everything that you need from it.
And I think, too, like, you know, it's nice because it is contained within the X
report. I'm just kidding.
It is within the X line, and I don't know, if you're reading the X books, then you're going to get this, but if you're not, then... I mean, even if you didn't, if you're not reading X of Swords, the last Wolverine issue is most definitely meant to be read that way. Like, it is supposed to be confusing because they are in Blightspoke, which is a place of different realms, and I believe it does say that within the book.
Yeah,
So,
Patrick.
I don't want to be a smug asshole, but Heather will do it for me.
I have enough smug in my asshole for everyone.
Anyway, that's it. That's all we got.
That's it. Thank you to Patrick for joining us. That was very fun.
Yeah, that was very fun. We love you every time. We'll get together soon to talk about our reading habits during COVID.
Yeah, because we're going to go back into lockdown soon within the next 2 years, hopefully, if Pete Ricketts does what needs to be done.
Yeah, and hopefully just chokes and dies, and that's what Heather means.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly what I mean.
Okay, so anyway, thank you for joining us. As always, go buy comics, support your local comic book store. Please wear a mask. If you can, you know, get curbside pickup at a local restaurant. Don't go to bars.
Be smart.
Yeah, be smart.
Protect your people.
Yeah, protect your people. Watch your back.
Carry a knife with you always. I mean, because some people are rude and they need it flashed right in their face.
And that's all we got for you.
That's everything.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye, Patrick. We love you.
Bye, Patrick. We do love you.
Bye.